Welcome everybody. I am Marilee Burnett, your astrologer, back with the messages for the week of January 15th as we explore some big transformation energy this week. So the big story is going to be the fact that we are going to see Pluto go back into Aquarius, where it will stay until September, when it will retrograde back to about the degrees that it is now, exploring this anaretic degree of Pluto. But before we get into all the details, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, like, comment, and share my work with anyone that you think could benefit from it. I truly appreciate your support. All right. So we're going to take a look at the breakdown of every day this week, Monday through Sunday. Talk about the important interactions that are going on with the planets, which means they're going on within you. And as an added bonus, if you would like to know what the tarot cards say for you for this week, I draw a tarot card for every sun, moon, and rising. And those will be posted in the shorts section of my YouTube videos. Also, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram, whichever is your favorite. So let's get started talking about the energy of Monday. And as you look at the screen, you can see that we have the sun at 25 degrees of Capricorn each day this week. It will move a degree closer to Pluto. Well, they're starting to have some influence. And, you know, the sun is your soul self. This is that voice that you talk to all of the time as you're driving around in your car, walking around in your house. And as it moves closer to Pluto, you are either tapping into your power, and for some you might be tapping too much into fear. So it's good to understand the difference between the two and know that whenever we encounter fear, our goal is to turn it into a strength instead by facing it down. So there may be things that you have to work on this week that are a part of that journey. So do not be afraid. Capricorn is the sign that rules governments. It also rules our 10th house, which is our midheaven, the highest point in our chart where we achieve success, recognition. A lot of times it has to do with our career. So there may be big company shakeups this week that make the news. There could be government shakeups this week. There can be governments that are flexing their muscles this week. So look for that as general themes. Now, as the week begins, though, the sun is speaking in harmony, which is this blue line with the little asterisks in the middle, which means it's sextile. And as we start, the planet Neptune is cozying up to the moon in Pisces, and the moon's strong there. It's another water sign. It is intuitive, and it feels good here. So when your soul self, your sun, and your ego meets up with the moon, your intuition, Neptune, spirituality, also has a lot to do with intuition. Artists, creators, medicine, healers, right? There's magic in that Neptune energy, and there's something about that magic that you get to participate in as the week begins. Now, as the week ended, last week we saw Venus speaking directly in harmony with the nodes of fate, north node where you're headed, the lessons you need to learn, the south node where you've been, the lessons you've already learned. So Venus is love, beauty, money, values. In Sagittarius, this is love that's a big adventure, something that you need to take a risk on might present itself to you. And we have a little bit of that influence still as we head into Monday. All right. So let's move us forward. One last thing before we do, this is a long-term transit when we have Uranus that is still retrograde, but one of the things that we're getting close to seeing on the 26th is Uranus will end its retrograde and move forward. Now, it is in this long-term in conjunct energy with the South Node. And that means we can have strange interactions, strange lessons that we have to learn about relationships from the past, about imbalance in our life. And the way we see that imbalance may come up in a strange or unusual way. So that theme, much like the Sun and Pluto talking together all week, continues all week long. All right, let's move us ahead now on to Tuesday. There isn't a lot that changes on Tuesday. You'll notice that when the contact between planets is strong, the lines on the chart in front of you are more bold, like they will be here as we move into Wednesday. So on Wednesday, you're going to see Mercury at 4 degrees of Capricorn, slowly but surely traveling through the rest of its post-retrograde shadow. Has to reach 8 degrees of Capricorn to be completely clear. But this week, instead of Mercury transiting over the area that it was in with the Sagittarius themes, now it's also moved into Capricorn. So we have a stellium of planets in Capricorn with Mercury, Mars, of course the Sun, and Pluto. So those Capricorn themes of doing the hard work, especially after we just had the new moon in Capricorn last week, those continue. And with Mercury moving forward, you know what your plan is, and you've got an idea of how you're going to execute it. And when Mercury is speaking directly with Mars, you're going to be then ready to actually take action on all that you've been working through and focused in on. Now, the first conversation that Mercury is having right now, though, directly is with Saturn. And Saturn gives you that discipline. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, has the information that Mercury needs to hear so that you devise a plan that is very successful for you. So don't ignore that Saturn information, because Saturn, while it may not be touchy-feely, it has the discipline, it has the instructions, it has all of the things that you need to know. You just have to be disciplined enough to tap into it. You also see, it's not completely bold there, but this contact is also beginning between Mercury and Jupiter. And again, this week, Jupiter continues to speak in harmony with Saturn. These two are the teachers, right? One's a little bit more disciplined, one's a bit more gentler. And as they speak together, again, this is energy that we want to take advantage of. As soon as we're done with the transition this week and Uranus goes forward and the Sun and Moon and Pluto, everybody's moving and changing signs. And when they do that, we need to be ready to move forward and change as well. So there could be something that you uncover today that helps you see what your next step should be. Maybe it's a mentor that crosses paths with you, is anything that has to do with an older person, which Saturn rules, time, another thing that Saturn rules. All those things can benefit you this week. So be structured and disciplined with your time this week as well. As we move on into Thursday, you're just seeing that the connection between Mercury and Jupiter gets stronger. In fact, on Thursday, you see the moon is cozying up to Jupiter, and this can make us feel big things today. That 5-degree point is that point where we had the full moon lunar eclipse last October, and there can be something that you uncover or better understand and know that you have to let go of whatever that is. So when Jupiter touches with any other planet, it expands on its energy. So the energy of the moon, our feelings, our emotions, our intuition, and in the sign of Taurus, our all of the five senses are very heightened. So pay close attention to your intuition today, because there's an important message that is trying to come through. As we move on into Friday, you will notice it has finally happened. The sun is now exactly conjunct with Pluto, and in this last 29th degree, which is a critical degree, anaretic degree. I like to say it's the final test of your education with the energy of the sign of Capricorn. And it's a powerful moment when the sun and Pluto come together, especially at 29 degrees. Something big will happen on this day, and you will not be able to miss it even if you tried. Now, we're also having at the same time Mercury speaking exactly now in harmony with that Jupiter energy, and together these are combining to show you something that you need to see and that you need to learn from. Now, maybe it's something you need to learn from because of the fact that Venus and Neptune have a square to one another, and that square with this very gentle rose-colored glass kind of energy means that you may need to be taking those glasses off and seeing the reality of what's actually going on in front of you. Now, there can be things that come to the surface as a result of this square. Could be things to do with foreign countries, foreign people. So there is something extremely important. And I really want you to journal today, even if it's just a feeling, because the thing about Pluto is ruler of the underworld, right? So it is things that are beneath the surface, and you don't necessarily see what is going on, but you will feel it, right? You will get a sense of something. And whatever that something is, when Pluto comes back here in its retrograde, where it stays at that 29 degrees the whole time, which is 6 weeks from the 1st of September to the middle of November, which will be seeing us through the election cycle. So something we are seeing on this date is what is going to be further explored during that retrograde. So pay attention, make a note, journal, take a picture. Everybody loves to go back and look at their photos or their Snapchats or whatever you're doing. It's important, and you'll want to know what it is and then be ready to spend more time on it as soon as that September 1st hits. So some big deal about this day matters. Even the moon is cozying up. Now, the moon's happy in Taurus. It's like comfort food time for the moon in Taurus. And so as it is joining with Uranus today, right? Again, there can be something that surprises you emotionally, and something to do with something in the past. That Libra has to do with relationships, commitments, contracts. So some surprise, some emotional aha could be some lesson learned, right, from the past comes up again to remind you, hey, don't do that again. You already went through this one and you've learned that lesson. So this is my top day of this week of things that we need to be aware of, prepared for, and big change is coming. All right. Then together we're going to see the fact that Pluto and the sun will come both into the sign of Aquarius together. So I'm moving this forward hour by hour so that you can see that it's by the evening of the 20th that we have Pluto and the sun exactly conjunct together in the sign of Aquarius. And this is a change. if you consider Capricorn to be the government and government structures, when we deal with Aquarius energy, then it's we the people. And while Capricorn has Pluto there, it's been power to governments over the last 20 years. You've seen how governments have really been shaping what society is doing, how it's felt more restricted, which is a very Saturnian thing, which is the sign of Capricorn. But now, as we get into the sign of Aquarius, this is we the people who have the power. This is ruled by Uranus in current day astrology. Saturn was seen as the ruler before Uranus was discovered. So now they can share some of those duties, but the Uranus energy brings a change and inventiveness. We'll see much more about AI. We'll see much more about Bitcoin. We'll see a lot more about aerospace and travel. Topics of aliens, you're already seeing a lot of that trying to be made something. So all of that is very Uranus type of energy, and about Aquarius. So now Aquarius is also an air sign, and things that move across the air waves. So internet, things about Facebook and TikToks and all of those platforms will all be up to innovative ideas, right? It's the way we look at things now, it will definitely not look the same 20 years from now. So this is the second day that you want to be paying attention to, because Pluto will be exploring here for just a bit. And then again, it will go retrograde in September. But you'll feel that the sun is shining a light on your friends. This is an 11th house energy, has to do with friends and networking groups, and you may find that you're much more successful when the sun is Aquarius, making sure that you connect to other people. Or Capricorn, you can pretty much find success on your own, but in Aquarius, you need the help of your tribe. All right, so that is a pretty exciting way for us to be experiencing the beginnings of the weekend. And then as we finish on Sunday, what you'll find is the moon will move into Gemini. And as it does, it is going to have, again, a fated conversation with the nodes, which of course it has every single month. But there is an opportunity to maybe change your mind, to explore your feelings about something, to connect your intuition with your mind. So there's something, some lesson, some opportunity that can present itself to you on Sunday. And maybe it's just a better understanding of what this whole week has been about. So it is time for change. Everything that is showing up for us this week is helping us to open our minds to what is possible and to listen to our guides, listen to our intuition, to not ignore the signs that keep showing up for you, not ignoring the patterns that keep repeating. It's time to make big changes and shifts. So I hope that you're ready for it. Now, if you need help in some understanding of what your work is going to be for 2024, I have a great extended session where we take a look at all of the transits and how they affect your natal chart. And I have a workbook that I fill out and go through with you so that you have a record that you can look at just on paper versus trying to rewatch a video. But that will, again, give you all the important dates for the transits. There's important things coming up where you'll see, if you look on the screen here, that Jupiter and Uranus are going to continue to march closer and closer to one another. So that's going to create some big events. And then a really important event which is actually where the North Node is sitting right now, is the new moon solar eclipse that will happen at this 19 degrees of Aries point. So again, it's just really important to pay attention to what's trying to show up and guide you right now. And the really amazing part is that the eclipse point is going to be activated like 4 times, because we're going to have a Mercury retrograde while we have an eclipse. So normally at that new moon, we are considering it, the new calendar year astrologically, because it's Aries, the first sign. But boy, this one is going to have some intensity to it and a retrograde. And so if you wait until here to get things moving forward, you're going to have a harder time with that. So now, as Mercury's moving forward and as Uranus is getting ready to end, as soon as it does on the 26th, if you've got big plans for this year and you're kind of dragging your feet on when's the best time, do it next week. Get things going, get them launched, because if you wait till April, it's going to be really difficult. You won't be able to get anything launched like we normally do. So I, of course, can walk you through all that. Check out the links below on my website. I do have a bit of a discount in order to have that big, long session with me, or any of my other readings. I do tarot cards, of course, as well. Whatever calls to you, I would love to work with you. So give me a follow. And again, thanks for watching and spending some of your precious time with me today. I truly appreciate you. We'll talk next week.